It is Halloween, the night when witches and ghoulies and things that go bump in the night go forth and knock on doors, shouting trick or treat, and seek favor from those who would live amongst them. But tonight, here on vaportrails.tv, we shall have none of that. Tonight we shall speak of electronic cigarettes. We shall speak of electronic cigarette juice. And we shall speak of other things that make man happy in VT Talk. And so it is, humans, that care to join us on this night of All Hallows Eve, as I bring to you the spirit of one who was once effervescent and loveliness, her eminent gorgeousness there for all to see. Please, all join hands and join with me as we try to raise the spirit of Sav Kirstine. Sav, are you there? Knock once for yes, or twice for no. Sav, Sav, come to us, Sav. Sav, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, hello, pet. How you looking, lovely?
Good evening.
Good evening, and how are you, oh monstrous one? Love the teeth.
I'm fine.
That's what I like to hear. Oh my God, scaring the living daylights out of me. Shall we sup virgin's blood together?
We shall.
Let's. And so, I suppose we ought to actually do a show about e-cigs, about the use of nicotine-containing products that are not yet given marketing authorization in the UK or anywhere else in the world. We shall talk about e-cigs, because the canny and the pet.
Aye, they're not bad. I quite like them.
It's canny like hell,
It's good.
Yes. Oh, I see. There have been one or two comments in chat. Would you care to divulge?
The ones that I could read. No, you don't need to raise my spirits, Lee. SAVage Stars has said, Virgin's blood, where did he get that from in the northeast? I don't think I'd get these teeth round. The Sam Monroe comment, you may have to take that one.
The chalice with the phallus holds the brew that is true.
Thank you. But yes, I think we're having fun.
Yes, it's all good fun tonight. I should explain to everybody why we're where we are, and I would appear to have a hell of a delay, I think, on you coming through. We're on Justin TV tonight for the simple reason that Livestream, our usual content delivery network, or CDN, which is not a Cadbury's Dairy Milk, has been having power outages since Hurricane Sandy hit New York. It's based in New York. So we're in a situation where it could go down at any minute. So we're using the backup plan tonight. We're here on Justin TV. And because everything's a bit up in the air and iffy-butty and stuff like that, it's just me and Sav. And what we're going to do tonight, general Q&A. If there's anything you want to know, whether it's about legislation that's ongoing or consultations that's ongoing or anything about e-cigs, e-juice, anything you want to know, sing it out, Cat will grab it, chuck it at Sav, and then it'll get chucked at us, and you never know, we might even be able to come up with a decent answer. Or we may not. You never know. So there you go. It's all up to you. The show is about you. It's all about you tonight. It's not about us. Really, it isn't. Oh, hang on. There's an error coming in. Even Justin's struggling now. It's just not fair, this. It's ridiculous. It's getting me... Look, I mean, it's losing colour. There's ghosts in the machine. There's all kinds of things going on. I don't know what I need to do to be able to sort this all out. It's just going to hell in a handcart. It's ridiculous. I don't know what to do at all. I really don't. It's shocking. I don't know how to make it work. Well, I do, really. We'll go back to that shot. There we go. That's just scary.
It's looked at it. I've got a question for you. I'll choose to ignore Gary Dibley's question.
What was Gary's? I'll have to scroll down to that. Can I say it? Oh, right. Yes, I see why you would ignore Gary Dibley's.
Yes.
Mr. Dibley gets aroused at anything. Never mind your outfit.
But Very Boring has said, can Dave do the rest of the show as Vincent Price for some atmosphere?
Yeah, the thing about it is Vincent Price is dead. So, right, Vincent Price.
Could be a long hour.
It could be a very long hour. Deep in the crypt, the man sat beside the coffin, and as the lid raised, he realized that time was running out for him. He looked very carefully as the spectre rose from the grave, and as it rose, it sucked deeply on a vision ego on top of a vision spinner, and said, "Hey, that's canny hell, doesn't know where I can get an email with a minute late." Yes. We'll keep a little bit of background music going. It's my favourite stuff. Keith would love it. He would absolutely love it. Yes.
I have another question just come in from Vaporman, who says, how long has Keith been hanging around on the rope?
Since the bugger wouldn't give us a JJ back, I loaned him. It's that simple. Don't nick me good mods or you die. Mm-hmm. That's simple. No, it's not a bloke having a wee old git. Although it could be taken that way. Can you not see him swinging backwards and forwards? Davy may, I don't know.
It's a drunk bloke having a wee.
Apparently so, yes. Apparently so. But never mind. Davy may, I don't know. They're just going mad in there. Okay.
I've actually got a proper question.
Indeed.
And the question says, is there a chart that can give a rough guide to type and size of wire and numbers of turns to resistance? And
that is from?
That's from Gillis.
Gillis. It's pronounced yes. Gillis, like Gillis Lane in Houghton Spring, for a very good reason. That's where he's from.
I was being posh.
Oh, were you? Gillis?
Yeah,
I say.
It's a teeth, don't you know?
You would think that it would be possible so to do, but here's where it all falls to bits. I mean, you can do it, but you've got both nichrome and canthal, both of which have different resistances per cross-sectional area. So a 0.2 canthal is less resistant than a 0.2 nichrome. So you would need to have a chart for nichrome, and you would need to have a chart for canthal. And then when you buy these two wires, whether it's canthal or nichrome, they should tell you what the resistance is per metre. Now 0.2 canthal, I believe, has a resistance of 60 ohms per metre. I think that's roughly where it's at. That's at 0.02 millimetres cross-sectional area. Or gauge, if you like. It's 34 AWG, I believe, is what it is. Whereas 0.2 nichrome has a resistance of 80 ohms per metre. So then, when you start talking in number of terms, let me try and illustrate that by saying, and here we go to a camera that may or may not be working. But if we go to this one, if we were to look, oh hang on a minute, that dead man follows me everywhere. Go away, dead man. There you go. If that was the wick in whatever you were talking about, it really wouldn't make any difference. If you put 5 turns around there, patently it wouldn't be the same as 5 turns around there, because the distance is 4 times on here from what it is on there. So it would, at best, at very best, it would be a rough guide. And when I say rough, I mean a bit like a badger's backside. The easiest way to work this out, really, is to know what the resistance per metre is of the wire, the resistance wire that you've got. If you know that, you should be able to calculate how long a piece of wire you need in order to be able to get the resistance you want. Now, if you're talking about something like a Genesis atomizer, where generally speaking there's no resistance wire on, then you would allow, say, 1 centimetre at either end, or half a centimetre just for safety's sake, although it's probably 2 millimetres. Or you can ignore it altogether and work out, right, I need a piece yay big, and that's got to wind all the way around the wick and then connect up, and that should then give you the resistance that you're aiming at. I think I can say in all safety that definitely works on silica wick, but I'm finding that on mesh wicks it's not always the case. I can put 8 turns on with the right length to give me 3 ohms, and I can get 1.1 ohms, and I need to do a lot more work on that, and we're going to be doing a lot more work on that in the haze hour. So that's about as well as I can answer that question at the minute, Gillis. I would love to think that it was going to be easy enough to do, but there are so many variables that you can't really say, well, 4 turns, because the wick could be any thickness from your little finger to the width of your arm to the width of the top of my thighs. Not that you want to even think about the top of my thighs. Well, most people don't want to think about the top of my thighs. I don't want to think about the top of my thighs.
I'm now thinking about them, but that wasn't out of choice.
There you go. Right, is there another question?
There's a couple more. Our very own Gary W said, what mod can make the best mist for the setting? Too many M's, S's and other things that I can't see here.
Which one? That makes 2 of us. More Virgin's Blood. More Virgin's Blood.
More Virgin's Blood.
More Virgin's Blood. Excuse me while I just have a little sup of Virgin's Blood. Oh, that makes me feel young again. That was a dirty laugh. That's interesting. You want one that's going to knock it out without you having to suck, I suppose. And what I've been finding, I don't know about anybody else, apparently, everybody that's got a Genesis does this, apparently. They set it away and started just putting a little stream. There you go.
Yeah, and you feel like you're at a rock concert.
A bit like that, yes. So yes, I would think for putting it out like that's something that you can expose the coil on and let the vapour disappear off into the atmosphere, and for that. I have to say that the Genesis are doing the job. I've also got to say, these Vision Egos aren't half banging it out as well. I do like these, they're nice. They are very nice.
They are very nice.
I see Seabiscuit's asking.
Yes, Seabiscuit wants to know, where did he find the Virgin's Blood? Must be hard to come by in the northeast.
Yes, in the light of the Jimmy Savile debacle, I'm not telling you.
I have another question. Actually, I have another 2 questions. These teeth are going to kill me. Midge Dog says, did Keith do the background organ music?
No, actually it's a guy called Kevin MacLeod. We use Kevin MacLeod's music quite a lot here on vapetrails.tv because he does do very good background music, which is royalty free and is actually free to use as long as you give him credit. So Kevin MacLeod, spelt M-A-C-L-E-O-D, not MacLeod, MacLeod. Damn good. If you have any need of royalty free music, I would heartily recommend that you look at what he does. He's got all kinds of stuff, and all of the tracks that we'll be using tonight have come from him, and a lot of the tracks that we use to underpin various different how-tos and what have you on various different shows also come from him. In fact, I think Dave Kitson's theme music's come from Kevin, didn't it?
I think so. I know we use them an awful lot. Lovely, nice, great music.
It is very good, very good stuff.
Right,
Gary's asking.
next question.
Go on.
Liam D. Vapor. Now this one, I don't know if I'm going to get out. Just got a VH Genesis. It's first rebuildable. Oxidized the hell out of it, but getting a lot of hot spots right at the top, on and off. It tastes nasty, but not like a dry hit from other Arties.
No, it's burned. That is properly burned. It's not a dry hit. It's heated to too high a temperature. And what I've found with that particular atomizer, much the same as Mark Jones, who I believe is commenting in there, the issue is right at the top, in that little bit there, which you probably can't see all that well. But you do want to have that wick as close as possible to the centre post at the top, so that the distance that bare bit of wire that goes between the two has to travel is as short as possible. The reason being, of course, as you might gather, it can't get any juice on it. And I'm going to go back, take everybody back to school, go back to secondary school, and you'll remember in your first year in physics, your physics teacher would have had you make you'd have either got paper cups, not plastic ones, or you would have made a little square paper cube that was more or less watertight. And you would put water in it, and you'd stick it on a tripod, and you'd put a candle underneath it and light the candle, or even use a Bunsen burner. And to everybody's amazement, of course, the paper wouldn't burn. The reason being that the water that was in the paper cup or in the little paper cube was carrying all the heat away from the paper, so it couldn't get to a hot enough temperature to burn. What's happening with that little bit of wire right at the top of your coil, right at the top of the candle? So there's your centre post, and there's your wick. In that gap there, the juice that's on the wick can't get along that little bit of wire that goes between the two, and so there's nothing much to carry the heat away from the bit of wire, from the bit of resistance wire, and so it heats up and glows red. So the shorter that distance is, the better it is for you. And as you use it more and that top bit gunks up, that gunking up actually wicks the liquid as well. I'm hypothesising, but having looked at the Genesis coils I've got that are working well, that top one does look as though it's got a pile of snot on it or something along those lines. Whatever it is, it does seem to be working that way, and it's allowing that little bit of extra juice to get there that stops it from heating up. And in truth, that nasty taste that you're getting, I think, is potentially acrolein. And acrolein is not something that you want to be inhaling. It's not very good for you. In fact, it's quite bad for you. In fact, it's very bad for you. So yeah, hot spots are to be avoided. And again, I'm getting them all over the place. Not so much on the NGP because it's got a plastic platform, but certainly on all the metal platform ones. I've been in a few hangouts, as have you, Kirst, where we've all been sitting scraping coils up and down and fiddling with our wicks, and then finally you get it. A hotspot free zone, and then you're good. If you love faff, you'll love that. If you don't like faff, don't go anywhere near. It'll give you a heart attack. It absolutely will. Yes. Yep. Whoops, is the music loud?
Yes.
I'll take it off.
Dog's sitting on the end of his seat waiting for something to jump out due to the music, and Gary says, can you turn it down just a tad?
There's not going to be anything jumping out because of the music, as if we would do that.
No.
Not just yet, anyway. Not just yet. Yes, sorry about that. I do apologise. Obviously, I can't hear it here.
No, I can't hear it either.
That's why we couldn't get it right then. There you go.
That'll be why, yes.
Yes, indeed. And I've just seen what the time is, which means we have to take the first of our breaks, even though it's Halloween. So we shall go into the first adverts. Do not go anywhere.
Vaporworld.co.uk sponsors conversation on VT Talk.
The GG. Because you want one.
iVapor and iVapor Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's ivapor.co.uk and ivapor-elixir.co.uk. iVapor and ivapor-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv. And now back to conversation on VT Talk, sponsored by vaporworld.co.uk.
Welcome back to Vapor Trails TV's program VT Talk. We are here tonight to talk about electronic cigarettes. Please feel free to ask any questions you wish, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. In the meantime, Jeff Benyon asked, no, Gary Wood asked where was Dave's pumpkin, and Jeff Benyon said it was in the corner with funny teeth. Sav?
Jeff, I will find you.
Say there, ya sunshine, there's been warned. She's going to come and bite your neck. I'm sure you'll love that. Uncle Fester, I'm not bald, you cheeky monkey.
I thought, am I talking about me again?
No, you're looking out like Uncle Fester. Fester had no hair.
This is true.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible.
It is.
Yes. Yes, so
Absolutely sure.
where were we at before we were so...
There was a lot of people talking in chat about rewicking the VV Nova, so I thought I'd bring that one to your attention and see if you have any pearls of wisdom on that one.
I think it's a damn good idea. If anybody's looking actually at getting into rebuildables, that's probably the first stage when you think about it. Because it's a shame I've just filled this replaceable, the Vision Ego. Exact same idea. The whole idea being that you can screw into, and if the camera's not fallen over, which it hasn't, that if you're not aware of how it all comes together, come down, there you go. There's that lovely little section in there that just unscrews and rescrews, so you can replace the coil section without replacing the rest of what is effectively a juice holding atomizer. I hesitate to call it a cartomizer because to me cartomizers are not particularly nice, whereas these things are, I think, absolutely gorgeous. I love them to bits. They are really nice, and I like them. I like them quite a lot. I like them an awful lot, in fact.
Yeah.
It's all good. All good.
Sorry, I just had to laugh at Jeff Bennion's comment again, who said, good job Cat didn't order the fangs. Can you imagine the size of them?
Oh Lord, I would have been down to your knees.
But we do have another question coming from MG Jones, our very own Mark,
Uh-huh.
who says, "What would you like to see in future for mods and atties?"
For mods and atties, I would love to see something that's as capable of the all-round performance as the very best of the Genesis atomizers. That was a doddle for somebody that was brand new for it to be able to use it. Now, I've been around these for, oh Lord, do you know it's 3.5 years now?
I know it's scary, isn't
It's
it?
ridiculous. 3.5 years since I first tried an e-cig.
Yeah.
And it's taken this long to get to the point where low-cost Genesis style atomizers are out there, but they still do represent a bit of a hurdle. And if I'm having bits of difficulty with them, and I've got a reasonable amount of experience, I think it's safe to say, then somebody that's been at it a fortnight or 3 weeks is kind of missing out on something special. And I think Kat would agree that Genesis, when a Genesis atomizer is on song, it's something special, and it is. There's no two ways about it. Beats everything else into a cocked hat. I'm not talking any specific one of them. I'm saying in general. The Genesis experience is so flavourful for those that want flavour. You can make it very flavourful. You can make it bang vapour out like there's no tomorrow. And you can get throat hit out of it like you wouldn't believe once you're right up to date with it. Now, I'm not saying that I've done all of this. What I'm saying is I've tried other people's that really do know what they're doing. And my goodness me, the experience that you can have with a Genesis is incredible. The same has to be said of the Penelope as well. I mean, that is very, very easy to get away with once you get the idea of coiling those bits of wire together. But again, I'd like to see that simplicated and simplified so that all of these rebuildables are a lot lower in price, because I think, the price on some of them does put a lot of people off. Although they're boutique ones. It's a bit like a Rolls Royce, isn't it, really? Mm-hmm. Or a Range Rover, or, something like that. I mean, I drive a Range Rover, so I can never whinge about things being too expensive. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm not saying nothing. You continue.
Well, so yeah, I can't whinge about things being expensive. But yes, I'm thinking, if we can get the Genesis idea to the point where any numpty, and I include me as chief numpty, can pick one up and go, oh, why, diddly, 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 poink, and it just works. Brilliant. As far as the mod itself is concerned, there's another one, isn't it? I mean, I'm a tube man. I'm very happy with anything that's in tubular form factor, but I'm quite taken with this form factor as well, which is a curvy box, or two tubes side by side with a flat bit across. Mark knows this box very well, and I'm looking forward to a particular mod being made that charges inductively, and I love that. Just like a toothbrush. Mm-hmm. So you go to bed on a night, have your inductive charger on your nightstand beside you, drop your mod down on it. When you get up in the morning, it's charged. And if you've got an inductive charger beside you, next to the Virgin's blood, and if you've got that beside your Virgin's blood glass, you can just take your inductively charged mod, drop it down on the little inductive charger while you're having a glass of Virgin's blood, or watching Twilight on telly, or, First Blood, or any of these general entertainment programs.
Yeah.
And then when you pick it up and give it another go, it's achieved some charge. And if that's power controlled with something like a DNA 20 in it, so much the better. That's the direction I want to see things going in, where you've got adjustability if you want it. So very simple for those that want it very simple, very adjustable and very versatile for those that want adjustability and versatility. Because a little bit of versatility never did anybody any harm, as I have been heard to say to many, many, many virgins in the past. Sorry, slipped into character there.
That's quite all right, Dave.
Could have been worse. I could have gone, oh, how's about that?
Yes. On that note, MG Jones says he got the dispatch notice yesterday, Dave.
He did he?
He did indeedy.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. That means I'm going to have something to play with fairly soon. Get in. Yes, Gary Wood. Now then.
And sticking on the theme of Genesis,
Yes.
Marco Van Basten says, were Genesis better with or without Peter Gabriel?
I always thought they were better with Peter Gabriel, I have to say. Yes, and unqualified, they were better with Peter Gabriel. Afterwards, it got a little bit, it kind of went out of prog and a bit more into rock. And I kind of liked the prog, you know, the long meandering 3/4 of an hour tracks that you could enjoy to the full.
Yes.
I think that's probably the best place to leave that one.
I think so. With a comment that came in from Sam Monroe, he says, I've been thinking instead of stainless steel mesh, some kind of ceramic tube might work well, and it would half the pricing about what we have. I don't know if that's meant to be pricing or pricking. Yeah.
Pricing.
Okay, it would half the messing about, I think is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yes. Don't say pricking, not when we've been talking about SAVage.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because I have seen some of the comments in chat and I just don't want to go there. No. Yeah, finding a ceramic that will wick correctly and at the right speed for a wide range of juice. If somebody can do that and get everything in the right kind of diameter to hit the holes, that would be excellent. That would be absolutely excellent. Something that's guaranteed. And this capillarity thing's got me. I'm confused by it all, and I would like to get more into. I can't remember the physics of capillarity, of capillary action, but again, the science involved, and it's one of the things I want to have a look at when I get a spare 5 minutes. I mean, I was just saying to your mum the other day, because I've got so much on at the minute in terms of, can we do a video for that? Can we do this? Can we do that? Do that, do this, do this. While I was at B&Q the other day, I saw they've now got broom handles with bumhole shaped ends on them, so I can sweep up as I'm going.
Yeah, that would definitely come in handy.
Terrible, isn't it?
I know the feeling well.
Indeed, indeed.
Well, chat are...
Are
I'm
they
not really
shutting up?
sure. I think they're very much still on Genesis. The
Are they?
band as well as the Atomizers.
I see. Genesis, eh? Hang on then. No, that's not the shot I want. There it is. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was Genesis. And Genesis consisted from on high. The Lord said, Thou shalt take thy square of stainless steel mesh. Thou shalt roll it tightly into a cylinder, and thou shalt heat it time after time. Thou shalt attempt to sacrifice it to the Lord thy trog, and thereby plight him thy truth. And when thou hast wet thy wick many times in the juice that is non-nicotine containing, thou shalt heat it and burn it off. And when thou hast burned it off, thou shalt coil it with the wire of thy thal. Thou canst thal shall be the wire that thou shalt coil. And when thou hast coiled thy wick shalt be inserted into the hole that is in your platform, and your two terminals shall thusly be connected, and thus shall thy vapour be produced. Here endeth the word of the Lord. Does that help?
That helped immensely, yes. That definitely did. And we have some more questions.
I'm pleased about that. I knew I'd beat them into submission.
Andy Bell has said, it seems we are not satisfied with wicking material, and that seems to be the holy grail. To which Gillis says, Dave, have you tried unbleached cotton with mesh?
No, I haven't. And for all sorts of reasons. One being I'm really sensitive to cotton fumes. When it burns, it just really gets to me. So I've kind of not looked at that, on the basis that if cotton gets dry and gets overheated, it's just going to be noxious. and it's kind of not a road I want to go down, especially when you start thinking about a Genesis style atomizer that has a solid metal tank. In other words, you can't see how much juice is in it. I have enough trouble now not knowing how much juice is in metal tanks. I'd be even worse if I had a cotton wick. I'd spend, 5 minutes sucking on it and another 10 minutes shoving a hypodermic down it and filling it up to make sure it had enough juice. So it's not somewhere I've gone. But actually, you know, they've brought that up, and it's true. Wicking has been, for as long as I can remember, wicking's been the major problem. I mean, Sav, you'll remember when first we got started with those tiny little wee cartridges that you used to get in the 401. We'd end up flicking them to try and get the juice to wick down out of the cartridge down onto the coil itself, so you could actually get a hit, get the very last drop out of it, because we'd been led to believe you could get 20 tabs out of 0.3 millilitres of juice. Like that was ever going to happen. But we were daft, we thought it would, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So,
and then we had the blue foam.
Oh, yes.
And the fish tank filler, fish tank filter stuff.
Yes.
And the straw mods and the tea bag.
And then you had they stick a little circle of something non-porous over the end, puncture it, and have a little bit of wick sticking out, and that touched the coil, and that got picked up by the Chinese and ended up with the Ego T, because that's exactly what the Ego T is.
Yeah.
The kind of standard tank Ego. Teabagging, yes. To say it to John Bond 1, we spent a lot of time teabagging a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we did. We really did.
Tell that to the kids these days.
I know. Shocked.
Disgustating it is. Absolutely shocking. You wouldn't know.
No.
So,
Liam D. Vapor has just typed in regarding what we were talking about earlier. You guys are the best. Got rid of the hotspot by bending the top of the mesh as far as it could go. Tastes okay now, at least like the flavour it's meant to.
there you go. I'm so pleased that you've got that sorted, Liam. We do have our uses, and I will say again, as I have said many times in the past, I know a lot of that advice has been scrolling up in chat because I've had the odd look at it, and we have got, say it with me, the best chat on the planet.
Ever.
There's no two ways about it, and I don't care what Twit TV says. They've got thousands, they've got the most, but we've got the best.
We've got the best.
Quality, not quantity. Never mind the quantity, feel the width. We've got good width, we have. No, narrowness. Our chat's not thick.
No.
We've got the best chat in the country, best chat in the world. Phil Emerson's just typed something in. What's he said?
Yes, Phil Emerson says, Dave, I ordered a BIM stroke sim and a Polaris kit today. Thought I would get some juice ordered. RY4. Am I missing out not getting high 5 or 6? And any tips for the BIM stroke sim and the Polaris?
Right. Okay. BIM and sim, very similar. Seriously, you talk about the BIM.
I love it. I haven't done anything to it yet. It is so simple, I can use it. It's flavourful. I love the little tank thing. Don't fill it too much, I suppose, out the hole when you put it down. But that's because it's got a hole in. But I love it. And this is the very first one that I've been able to get away with in the sort of whole rebuildable thing.
Yes.
And it's just about ready now to replace the wick and coil, but I've got 3 of the pre-made ones, so I'm going to do that because I put the most awful tasting juice ever on it and now I killed it. So, but I'm not actually terrified of having to do anything to it because it just is so simple and it's lovely. I can't praise it enough. Really, really, really like it.
Good. That's good to hear. I must admit, as an introduction to rebuildables, I don't think you're going to go far wrong with it. It's simple enough to use, and everything's all right. It's tiny, but it's big enough that if you've got a decent pair of glasses, you don't need your arms 14 foot away to be able to focus on it, and they work very well. Now, in terms of the juice, are you missing out not getting high 5 or RY6? See, this is so difficult because, of course, it was me that concocted the RY High Five. That's why it's called RY High Five. And it is, I have to say, my wife's favourite juice. It was concocted so that it would appeal to people that were looking for the experience of a sweeter type cigarette. In that it gave you, or should have given you, and does still with me, it gives you the feeling right the way around your mouth as though you've had something, I don't want to use the word smoke, but that you've had the experience that you want. It's got good throat hit to it, slightly sweet so that you're not left with a bitter taste, and it's got a slightly honeyed kind of sweetness and a kind of a honeyness on the exhale as well. RY6 is my staple. That's the one I go to first all of the time, and that's a candy sweet. But I know everybody's been talking about steeping on the forums lately. After a month or so, you find the candy sweetness bottoms out just a little bit, and you are left with a really rich, lush kind of, I'll call it a vape. Why not? I'll join the clan. You've got a really lush vape that's got just enough, only just enough sweetness to satisfy somebody with a sweet tooth. But it's kind of robust, it's there, you can feel it, you can taste it, it's really nice. So no, you're not missing out at all.
Yeah. I guess you like that.
Yes, RY6 doesn't last, well, Gary would say that RY6 doesn't last him that long. I buy a litre at a time, Bonnie lad, so, you know.
Something that you mentioned there that I find quite interesting is the steeping. If you're buying a litre at a time, I suppose it's involuntary steeping, really, isn't it? It's
Pretty
not
much.
something that you consciously put away and think, right, I'll come back to that in a month's time.
No, but I've got to tell you, I'd started an RY4. I had a half litre of RY4 in PG, and for whatever reason I'd forgotten I'd opened it, and it was just stuck on the shelf. And I opened that up the other day, and my goodness, what a change. It's so much darker, not in colour, but in taste, in flavour. The sweetness has all but disappeared. It's still there, but it's really dark sweetness. Not caramelly sweetness, but, well, a really dark caramel sweetness, I suppose you would say. And it's, yes, I have rediscovered a love for RY4, a love that was never ever going to go away. I mean, everybody that's known me for any length of time would know that RY4 was my staple, and it appears to be coming back into my arms. That's quite nice. So yes, it's very enjoyable. I hadn't expected it being like that at all, and I've just spotted the time, so we'd probably better drop into the second lot of adverts, and when we come back we'll keep on talking about e-cigs and juices and taking your questions, whatever they happen to be. It's kind of a Halloween special. I didn't want doom and gloom tonight. We've had doom and gloom for weeks before, slightly lighter hearted. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Vaporworld.co.uk sponsors conversation on VT Talk. And now back to conversation on VT Talk, sponsored by vaporworld.co.uk.
I'm in, I'm here, I'm back. And we'll start off with a question that came in from Vaporman, which is, Dave, what's your favourite RY4?
Oh my God, my favourite RY4, Jesus. My very first taste of RY4 was the original Janty RY4. The original, and still in my mind the best. Right at the very start of vaportrails.tv, if you can dig them out of the archives, they're still there somewhere. I actually did, I don't know, it was about an 8-week series on RY4s, going through and scoring them all and trying to work out how close they came to the original Janty, which was my favourite of the RY4s. And it's a difficult one, really. It's a very difficult one. I think the two that are closest to the original Janty one would be the Dekang and the Hang Sen. Now, to me, they are quite similar on the basis that the guy that was originally a Dekang went to Hang Sen and took his recipe book with him. So those two RY4s certainly at that point in time were quite similar. Beyond the American ones don't come close, it's their own take on them. But I think of all the RY4s, I would probably go for Dekang as the first, and Hang Sen as the second. But if I could ever get my hands on some of the original Janty RY4, oh, I'd be very pleased. Your finger's gone up.
I've got a teeny tiny bottle of original Janty RY4 that I found a couple of months ago. And I mean, you know, I'm not a big fan of RY4.
You're not.
And I thought, oh, what's this? So I dripped some on me, I missed, and oh, it was lush. You would have really liked it.
And you're telling me this now, why?
Because I can.
I see. It never occurred to you to tell me at the time?
No. It was nice. What can I say?
I see.
Really was good though. You really would have liked it.
Is there any left?
I think there is actually, but I can't find it at the minute.
Oh no, don't tell us it's with your mum's batteries.
Could well be.
Oh Lord, we'll never see them. We'll never see them.
Nope.
Lord above. I see Vaporman's mentioned the DK tab as well.
Yes.
That was gorgeous.
See, again, another one I didn't like.
You didn't?
No.
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I've got a 50ml bottle of the original DK tab kicking about somewhere. Mind you, what it'll be like now, I've got no idea. But if I can search it out, that'll resurrect a few memories, because that was very, very nice.
I know a lot of people liked it, but I was never a big fan. Oh yes, so I've got a couple of questions. First of all, I'll read out Very Boring's recipe that he uses to make his own RY4.
Okay.
Says, I make my own, which I make using flavouring from Cloud9 Vapor, as well as Hang Sen flavouring, plus some vanilla and maple flavour to taste.
Maple?
Maple.
Ooh. Shall I? I'll let people in on my little secret, shall I?
Go on.
We shared this a long, long time ago. Dulce de leche. A little bit of dulce de leche flavouring, and I'm only talking 1 or 2 drops in a 20ml bottle, and it just adds a little bit of creaminess to the caramel. It makes it a kind of a toffee caramel.
Yes.
And that just, because I remember at the first Vape Fest, everybody was saying, what the hell's in your RY4? And I said, I'm not telling you. And then at the mini meet that followed it, I told them, and they were so surprised.
Yes.
And I well recall Mr. Kitson going and ordering half a litre of the stuff, not realising how strong it was. I still have 120 mils of that left, and I got 250 mils of him.
Yes,
So-
it is very strong stuff. You definitely don't need a lot of it.
No, it's dulce de leche is to be used in very, very small quantities. Treat it like truffle. Treat it like
Yes.
truffle. Throat's going, virgin's blood.
Virgin's blood. Lovely. Lovely. Right, I'll move on to the next question, which came in from Seabiscuit.
Aha.
And he says, how many e-cigs do Dave and Sav own, and how many can they fit in their mouth at once? With these teeth in only one.
Right. Well, let us see how many I have to hand at the minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, all right, hang on. 11. Hang on. 12. Hang on. No, there's more. Where's the rest of them? Oh, 13. They're just the ones I've got on my desk. There's about another 15 to 20 of various different types in various different places. And as for how many I can get in my mouth at one time, that's for me to know and women to dream about.
See, I'm just a woman of simple tastes, because on my desk I've got the Darwin.
Uh-huh.
With a couple of eco batteries that are waiting to be charged. I have an Ellipse and a Richie Impulse. That's it.
Right.
Actually, I have 6 Richie Impulses, but I'm trying to cut down.
Well, yes, you should as well, because you're denying other people the pleasure of those, I think. You go
I know,
through
it's
so
terrible.
many. I know, disgustipating is what it is.
I know.
Disgustipating.
I'm very sorry.
Oh, it's all right, I'll let you off.
Thank you. Oh, we've got another question that's just come in. I'll get to Russell's question in a minute, but I'll read this one while it's here.
Uh-huh.
It's from Gillis, and he says, have you got your Fogarty Genesis yet, Dave?
No, they don't go on sale until tomorrow. And I'm hoping tomorrow means a minute after midnight, and I shall be there. I thought long and hard about it. It's 109 quid, which in the grand scheme of things is a fair amount of money. But it's one of those things where I've looked at it and I've watched the video God knows how many times. I know it's not going to be the easiest to get away with because it's exactly the same as the Cobra. But once you've got the Cobra on song, it's gorgeous. The thing about the Fogarty is I just love the look of it. I think it looks so sexy. And it's one of those things that you kind of think, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? And then you think, hell, I'm having it. Because just purely and simply in terms of what I used to spend on fags, it's 60 fags a day. What's that now in money? What would you pay? Well, it's 8 quid a packet, isn't it?
Packet.
So that's 24 quid a day. It's 4 days. Bugger it, I'm having one.
I have to agree. I mean, it is very sexy looking, and it's way above where I'm at with rebuildables and stuff. But I'd like one of them.
It just looks so nice. But
does.
I'm going to say this because I can see that there's 1 or 2 people are asking where they can order it. You don't want one, they won't work, they're horrible, they're nasty. Don't buy one, whatever you do, at least. Not until I've got mine. Then you can do what you like.
Next
Don't
week.
care.
Buy one
next week. But it's vaporizers. Google that and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So yes, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can pick one up tomorrow when they go on sale on the 1st of November or All Saints Day, All Hallows Day. Not as it is tonight. Halloween! I'm loving this. I'm enjoying myself tonight. It's good fun.
It's brilliant.
Nice. You can get tablets for that, you know.
Leaves it alone. It's a bit chesty.
I have heard it said by various members of the chat that you are a bit chesty.
Yes, and swiftly moving on to the next question.
Which I believe came from Russell.
It did. It came from Russell, and he says, "Oh, excuse me. What would you recommend as? Oh, I'm never going to be able to say this. What would you recommend as the most faff-free starter kit for a long-term smoker?"
A faff-free starter kit for a long-term smoker.
Yes.
So somebody, oh Lord, she's gone again. Can you all join hands and try and contact the living? Sav?
I'm coming.
Sav?
I'm coming through.
Are you coming? Sav? Oh, there she is. She's there. At the minute, I tell you what I would be looking at for versatility, for ease of use, and I'm taking me clue here from Keith, right? And Keith and my wife, I have to say, the pair of them have fallen in love with the Vision Ego. It's got everything you want in one little box when it comes. It's dead easy to fill, and if you get a snipe nose bottle of juice with it, or you've got a spiky thing or any of that, piece of cake to fill, and that teamed up with an Ego twist or a Vision spinner, one of those two, with the instructions that you start with it down at 3.2 or 3.3 volts and just turn it until it satisfies. That's it. Seriously, that is, I think, the ideal place for somebody that's a long-term smoker and wants to get into e-cigs and wants to get the proper experience straight away. In terms of looky likeys, there are so many out there, and so many of them are the same thing and called by different brands. It's very, very difficult to say, but I am quite keen on the vaporized Gemini. That's really nice. The Tablights looky likey is also nice, and I have to say that although you don't get massive lengths of time out of the Jasper and Jasper, that's really nice as well. It's got a nice experience. It just doesn't last long enough for somebody like me. So there would be...
The two that I like are, as I said, the Impulse, but I like that one from Tesco's, the 10 Motives.
Yes.
I'm really quite impressed with that one.
I think it's going to be down for somebody just getting at it. It's going to be the flavour, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That's where it's going to actually be at. It's going to be the flavour.
Yeah.
And, you know, flavour is so subjective. I mean, if as we heard from Scott Haley of Vaporcast last week, you know, if you were going to rate a flavour, you would rate it from on a scale of a mini to a double-decker bus. And the 10 Motives for me would be a rat's tail.
Mm. I would have to agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Apparently I've agreed with Russell again.
Yes. Russell says exactly what I thought, Dave. Thank you.
And Sam has mentioned the Enjoy King. Now, our colleagues over in the States are singing its praises left, right and centre.
Yes.
And no, it's not in the UK yet, because I went looking for one to buy. I wanted to try it. They've got me sorted with that. I want to give those a try. But there you go. And I'm saying that we probably haven't got very long to go, because the Wick-Ed Witch, she called herself that, the Wick-Ed Witch has said there's 2 minutes to go, so I really ought, I suppose, to start playing in, if I can find them, the credits. Can I say thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. So sorry we couldn't bring you the 720. You've actually been watching in 480 if you only just knew it. Thanks again, Sav, for dressing up and looking so monstrously good. You see what I did there? And to Kat for doing the usual job that she does so very, very well. I will see you all tomorrow night for the Haze Hour, either on this or on the usual. But until then, from all of us here, happy Halloween, and we'll see you later. Bye. VT Talk was sponsored by Vaporworld, introducing the straight-up range of e-liquid from the USA containing real tobacco extracts.